Where did it go? Uh, what's up, everybody? What the heck's going on? Let's go. All right, so where did it go? Where's the share button? God dang it. It was on there last week. Anyway, so I've got one viewer. Who's viewing? Comment if you're viewing right now. Comment if you're viewing right now. I want to know who's watching. I'm trying to get this thing set up. Dadgummit. Turn. Lane. There we go, right there. So we got 3 viewers. Somebody leave a comment. I had it on here last week. I was able to actually go in here and add people to the show. I don't want to stop it tonight, so tonight might just end up being me for tonight. But I did it last week. What's up, Mr. Klotz? Thanks for the hat, man. See it hanging right there behind me? Right there? I appreciate that. Put your sticker on my sewing machine. I appreciate that. Oh, yeah, I've got it live. I'm just trying to figure out how to add people to the dadgum thing. I haven't been able to figure that part out yet. I had it figured out last week, but I don't know what happened. I was able to hit a button, and it came up last week. So I don't know if there's a add button on y'all's end, but hopefully there is. And if there is, you can just press the button and I'll add you in on the show. So finally caught it live. So appreciate y'all watching. There was a 4th watcher, but I guess they dropped off. It's going to start out slow, but that's all right. So I don't really have a whole lot of topics tonight to talk about other than I had a pretty damn good weekend. I was able to sell 2 of my bikes. Some of you people actually got to see that via the Facebook messages and posts and stuff that I posted up on my personal page last week. Oops, something just happened. What happened? Ooh, the page moved. Oh, let me see. Live viewers. Okay. What about this? No, I need that. Anyway, so I was able to sell 2 of my bikes last week. They'd been in process to be sold since December, and the guy that bought them just had a little bit of issues going on his end in Louisiana. He got it all resolved, and he actually came and got the bikes. Actually, he just came and got the titles and gave me the money. He's actually coming next weekend to pick up the bikes himself. So I was able to sell my Black Road King, the Rat King. It's gone now. I sold my Blue Chopper, the Beast. So he's got both of those bikes now. But don't fret, because I'm actually building a 280 rigid drop seat, 26-inch front wheel Pro Street. The bike's going to be called Rockstar because I will be building this bike for me. I won't sell it unless there's just some crazy, insane amount of money that someone would give me for it, but I doubt that would ever happen. I'm going to be building this bike as a tribute to Brad Rule from The Wrench. He was one of my very first custom bike builders that ever started using me when I started building seats. And so I'll take a minute, and that's the story I'll tell you guys tonight. So back in 2004, when I first started doing seats, I actually started the company January 1st, 2004. I was very blessed and able to get on American Chopper, as you can see right there. Got to go up there and hang out with those guys, and was actually on TV, but it was so quick and so fast that if you blink, you missed me. But if you want to go back and look, it was the episode where they finished up the Snap-on Tool bike. I was actually in the shop for a week building 3 seats for him. One was for Mikey's blue bike. One was for a rigid that they were building, and another one was for another Softail that they were building. I don't know whatever came of them or anything like that, but it was a great opportunity. Those guys are extremely nice. They treated me like just damn near like family. Hello, darling. Um, so anyway, to make a long story short, as soon as I got back from filming, of course, I came home, finished up the seats and stuff, and then I got to meet him at the Steel Pony Express in New Orleans in 2004, which was in September of 2004, if I'm not mistaken. So I had only professionally been doing seats for 9 months. Well, that's when I met John Lang from the Wrench. There he is, if you could see him right there. And he worked for Brad Rule at the time. Well, anyway, so I ended up doing all of Brad's seats. Well, there was a period at the beginning of 2005 that I wasn't really being taken very seriously. So I called Brad and we chit-chatted, and I just told him that, I'm busy doing work, but it's just like it's almost like they don't respect me. So Brad said, okay, well, I'm going to fix that. So he ended up building me a bike specifically to me, well, a rolling chassis, I should say. And it's the bike that I'm going to be building. Brad was a hell of a guy. The agreement that him and I had was that I would do 20 seats for him for the choppers for free to pay him back for that rolling chassis he sent me. When I got the rolling chassis, I had mentioned just in passing that I wanted a Springer front end for it. Well, he put a regular inverted front end on it, and lo and behold, another month later, I got a Dragon D66 Springer from American Suspension. I never paid for a dime of it. So every time a customer would call me, or Brad would tell me, hey, I've got a seat for you to do, the customer's going to call you. Well, every single time a customer would call me, the conversation typically went like this. Yes, how can I help you? Well, Brad Rule sent me over here. He said he's building my bike and he wants you to do my seat. And here's what I want, blah, 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 blah. I said, okay, well, cool. And they would always ask me, what do I owe you? And I would always tell them, you don't owe me anything. Brad's already paid for the seat. It's all good. Every single customer I dealt with said the same exact words as Brad told me you would say that, but he said, this one's special. I'm going to be paying for it. And I was like, okay. So I only did one seat for Brad, and that was for his personal bike called the Brass Monkey. And it was a tooled leather seat. And that was the only seat that I ever did that paid for that whole rolling chassis. Well, tragically in 2009, Brad had a massive heart attack and passed away. And I never actually got to shake his hand and meet him. So as fate would have it, I've held on to this rolling chassis for the last 13 years. And I'm going to be building a tribute bike, a memorial to Brad. The bike's going to be very personal. I'm going to try to do it in such a fashion that Brad would be proud of it. Any of the people that know Brad will see the bike and be proud of it. It will be going to different rallies. It'll be going to different shows, but I will never, ever, ever be in a show to win a trophy. I will only be putting it into shows just to showcase it so people will look at it. I'm doing that because, you have to really, really think, here's this brand new guy doing seats, hasn't even been doing upholstery for a year. And this major bike builder, celebrity bike builder, professional, badass bike builder just built me a rolling chassis. And if anybody knows anything about those rolling chassis back in 2005, a full-blown rolling chassis of that stature usually went for around $9,000. And I did one seat for him. And back then, my solo seats cost about $250. So I will be building this bike. I will be promoting this bike. I will be doing everything I can to make this bike go viral. Not necessarily for me as a builder, but more as a big, huge thank you to Brad Rule, Karen Rule, and then their family. I mean, because Brad really stepped out on a ledge, and I guess he just believed in me. And, you know, I wish he were still here because I know he would have been one of the first people I would have interviewed um, about this. I would love to interview his wife, Karen. I don't know that she even watches the show, but maybe somebody can actually get on here, and her name is Karen Kane Rule, and you can go to her Facebook page and you can talk to her, send her messages, tell her that you'd like to see her on the grind because she's got I guarantee you she's got a good story for you. But anyway, um, I'm thinking about doing another live video feed on Monday nights. Um, of course, called The Grind, but it's going to be exclusively to product acknowledgement, to showcase different builders' products that they may be coming out with or that they may want to showcase and let people know that it's available. I have a airbag system that I built in 2005, and it sounds crazy, but when you see the live video of it, you'll understand. It's a fully adjustable airbag system that will go into any seat, no matter if it's a chopper, an 18-wheeler, a boat. Hell, it'll even go into a wheelchair. They're custom made, and they are probably real comparable to having gel added, you know, price wise. Um, they're really good products, but I'll go into more of that when I do the live video feed in a couple of weeks. I want to get a seat set up so that you can see how they work, how they go in, uh, the different ways that they can actually benefit riding a motorcycle, even a rigid. Because just like this Pro Street I'm building, it's going to be a rigid, and I promise you I'll end up riding that bike more than I ride anything else. I will be redoing the Twisted King a little bit and making it more personal to me because that motherfucker ain't selling. Um, but anyway, I appreciate all you guys watching. All I can ask is that you just share the crap out of the Grind Facebook page so that I can hopefully get more viewers and get more viewers and get more viewers and try to figure out how to get it to where I can start doing the interviews on here. I thought I had it figured out last week. It's just a little icon at the bottom of the page. It's not there to add anybody. I don't know if any of y'all can see it, but if you can, is there an icon so that you guys can actually add or request to be on the page? If there is, push it and let me see if I can add you. It doesn't necessarily have to be an interview tonight. All it's got to do is do just so we can test it. No, it's nothing like Paul's design. Paul's design is actually a center post with an actual air bladder that goes underneath a like a bobber solo seat or stuff like that. And I'm sure he retrofits those to fit anything, but that's something you have to put onto the frame that bolts to the bottom of your seat. So instead of having a Springer solo seat, you actually end up with an airbag solo seat. Actually, if you hold on 2 seconds, I'll show you just one of them just because it piques your interest. So before I show you guys this airbag system, you have to understand, no, Airhawk is like a big waffle cone. Mine are only about a 1/16 of an inch thick until you air them up. So I'll go on and show you one that's actually made for a dirt bike. So this is the airbags. As you can see, they're really, really, really paper thin. They have a Schrader valve in them, and I custom make these to actually go into anything. But when you air them up, you can see that there's a top bag for your tailbone and one for each of your butt cheeks. The reason that it's made like that is because it actually works, and I don't want to go too much into it with you, but basically what it does is it puts air under each one of your tailbones, your cheekbones, and then one behind you in your tailbone. When you air them up, you literally only put a quarter to half a pound of air, and it as you're riding your bike, it circulates. It's continually moving the air around underneath you. Once you set it, you get your optimum air pressure for your body type and your riding. You don't have to touch it again. I've had one in my seat since 2006, and it's still in the seat right now today. I could go downstairs and get it out of the chopper and show you the seat. they're made out of 100% neoprene, or not neoprene, I'm sorry, urethane. So they literally will stretch like there's no tomorrow. Um, I've had extreme success with these. I do have these patented because there's nothing like them. Um, all right, if you touch the screen, see nothing comes up when I touch the screen though. Um, I think it's when you set the video up initially, it's the way that you actually set it up that it will let you add people or not. Well, what do you want to see, Jim? Do you want to see the seat with an airbag in it? Because you can't really see the airbag. Um, once oh yeah, I can put them into anything: passenger seat, pillion pads, two up seats, stock Harley seats. Like I said, man, I can fit these into anything. Um, they're really, really, really cool. And I'll tell you this about them. A lot of people think that they're going to make a seat softer, and they don't really make a seat softer. What's up, Big Pimp? I see you there, Curly. Um, they don't make your seat softer. What they actually do is they take away fatigue while you're riding. So the reason I know this is because I don't want to sell anything that isn't going to be actually work. It's not a novelty item. It's actually a really good product. So what I did, I don't know if many people know the story behind my blue bike, but it's a blue chopper. It was a wrench frame, has a lot of West Coast chopper, the tank and the fender and all that. I put a Springer front end on it. It's got 124 cubic inch Merc or Merch, however you say it. It actually produces 151 horsepower, and it puts 140-ish on the ground. So it's just a monster bike. Awesome, Frank. I appreciate that. Send it to me, bro. You will be happy. But anyway, so we used to take this thing up to the ROT rally in Austin every year. Well, I remember the first year that I took the chopper up there after I redid it, I didn't have an airbag in my seat, and we rode, I want to say it was 300 miles in one day. And then the very, very next day, man, I did not want to get back on that bike. My body was aching, just from riding that long, being out in the sun. Muscles were just sore. That's all. Well, the next year, we do this exact ride every single year. So the next year, I actually had the same exact seat, but I had a custom airbag in it. And I'll never forget it. I knew that first day was going to be a spectacular ride. We're going to have a lot of fun. Everything was good. But I knew that next Saturday morning, there was no way I was going to want to ride. When we got done riding, we went and had dinner and went down on 6th Street and partied. I think I got in bed around 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, everybody else was up by 8:30. And man, I popped up out of bed, took a shower, and I was ready to go. I didn't have any of the fatigue that I had the year before. Yes, it is, Dan. It's extremely cool for a rigid. Uh, but anyway, like I said, it seemed like it took all the fatigue away from the long distance ride. And I've noticed that because the Twisted King doesn't have airbag seats because, I was going to sell it. And then the Rat King doesn't have airbag seats in it either. But they're different styles of seats. So I don't get the fatigue from that like I did being on the chopper, with your arms out like this and riding with your back arched and everything. Like I said, man, I'm going to do a product thing on Monday nights. I'm not going to start it for another couple of weeks. I want to get this seat built so that I can actually show you half and half. One side's covered and one side's got clear vinyl on it, just so you can physically say how the product actually works. And hopefully we can pick up some people that want to have custom airbags in their seats. Yes, you can actually you can hook these airbags up to the air ride suspensions. You just have to have a pressure regulator valve in it that will go down below half a pound of air. And once you set it and you figure out how much air you got in it, you can set that thing up. And every time you air your bike up, it'll air your seat up and you hit the street and you go rolling. I've only had a couple of customers do that before. So, because that's just a lot of more plumbing and stuff. And it's just a lot easier just to put an air. I mean, it's just a standard Schrader valve is all it is. I'll show you. So it's just a standard Schrader valve, just like on your car. So every time I air mine up, what I typically check the air about once a year on mine. But I live in Texas, so our weather is not drastically changing. you probably should check the air about once a month, and in most of your states that actually get a good, 4 seasons. But I just take my air compressor and I just go psh, psh, and that's literally 2 squirts, and that it's got more than enough air in it right there. You don't have to blow these things up massive to you. It looks like you got bubbles under your seat. What's up, Mr. Miller? What's going on? But anyway, kind of that product knowledge tonight. It's a cool product. I've had a lot of good success with it. I wish I would have known all this beforehand. I would have started doing videos on products a long time ago. That's one thing I do want to do, and I would like to get better equipment and set this up so that we can get a YouTube channel, so you can start following on it, get better equipment so that I can actually do radio interviews. I want to hook up with Courtney, I think it's Courtney Lambert, and see how she's doing her podcast. I know hers is typically just, like listening to the radio. There's not really a video to go with it, but I think that's one of the coolest things in the world. I, on the other hand, would want to do a live podcast, kind of like my buddy Ricky Rocket from Poison does. He seems like he's got a pretty good following. And yes, I've already tried to get him on the show, and I think he's just been a little busy with everything he's got going on to respond to me right now. So anyway, I don't really have a whole hell of a lot to talk about tonight. We've got some things coming up here in the next 30 to 60 days. I'm going to be finishing up this 08 Fat Boy that I'm building. Yes, exactly, Dave. That is. It's Wide Open Radio with Courtney Lambert. That's right. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to be finishing up this 08 Fat Boy that I'm building in the next month or so. All the parts are fixing to go off to paint, I think, this weekend or the middle of next week. It just depends on the painter if he's available to take them in. But I've got a 2015 Street Glide I'm doing. What's up, Jim? I've got a 99 Road Glide I'm building for a real good friend of mine from high school named God dang it, Corey Pertella. I got stuck on his last name. That's going to be a kick-ass bike when it's done. That's kind of a really special bike for me to be building because it's going to be the big brother to the Rat King. And I'll let you guys know right now, it's going to be called the Zombie Glide. I know it's probably goofy. A lot of people think it's funny, but I name everything I build. Yeah, I think Curly is still watching. I'm not real sure. I wish there was a way I could add somebody into this show, man. It really irritates me. I did it last week when I went on here. I was able to add somebody. But I don't know. I think I hit the wrong goddamn button when I went live with it. I don't think I know there's a button that I can actually push when I first start the video to actually make it where you can add people in. Pimpin' ain't dead. The hoes are just scared. Where have I heard that before? Anyway, so if you guys would like for me to shut this video down and go over to the other side, let me know. People just start sending some likes out real quick so I can figure out if you guys want me to end this video and go back over to the other side so we can get somebody on here. No likes, okay. So y'all just gonna have to watch and listen to me chit chat for a while. There they are. Okay, everybody. Well, I'm gonna shut this video down then, and I'll go back over to my personal page. Y'all hit me up over there, and I'll add somebody to this real quick. All right. Next week I'll have this shit figured out. I promise you. All right, man. Go over to my page, and I'm gonna go right back over there in about 2 seconds. Thanks.